get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe to Drinking After Dark Podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I have two very special guests with me. They're both back again. I'm glad they're back because we're going to be talking about this one particular topic. But before we get into it, I'd like to say welcome back to Monica Meeks and Ron Hayes. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, Happy New Year. Thank you for having us.
Happy New Year to you, and I'm glad both of you guys are on. Before we go any further, Ron, what you drinking on tonight?
You know what? I took it back to the old Bagwell tradition. Poured up some Crown tonight.
Oh.
Got the Crown. We all know who the king of the Crown is in our family. It was my Uncle Bag.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
he was the guy. Rest in peace to Uncle Bag. He was the guy who had the crown. So that's pretty much why I was drinking it, because I've seen my uncles drink it. So that's kind of like in my blood. So Ron knows. He knows what I usually drink on. Monica, what about you?
Well, I'm having a girly girl drink. I'm doing Chi-Chi's daiquiri. Publix has them. I don't think they have the restaurant Chi-Chi's, at least not in North Carolina. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. It's a little girly strawberry daiquiri.
Okay. And tonight I'm just changing it up. I'm just taking it light. I'm drinking on this Jack Daniel's watermelon punch. That's what I'm drinking on tonight. So just it's real good too. So I'm drinking on that tonight. And so we gotta get into this. For those who don't know, last week me and Ron talked about the Cat Williams interview, and he answered some questions from Shannon Sharp on his podcast, Club Shay Shay. And one of the questions was brought up was Taraji P. Henson's comments about the pay in Hollywood and everything like that. And me and Ron was gonna get into it, but I told him, hey, let's wait and let's make that a whole nother episode so we could talk about it, because it's not just Hollywood, it's just pretty much in every industry as a whole. So real quick, Taraji P. Henson basically spoke out against the pay gap in Hollywood, and she talked about how much she was getting paid, and basically after taxes and everything like that, it really wasn't much, right? And of course, she brought up how much she got paid for her role in Benjamin Button, which she was nominated for an Academy Award for. She got paid $150,000 for that movie. She got paid $150,000 for that movie, and of course, she's done a lot more ever since. But she's been speaking out against the pay. Also, too, Monique was pretty much the most boisterous one out of everybody who was speaking out against the pay. Viola Davis spoke out against it as well. Ron, I'm gonna start with you, man. What do you feel? How do you feel about the pay and Taraji P. Henson's comments on the gap in Hollywood?
First and foremost, let me put this caveat out there. I am all for equal pay. It doesn't matter your race, your gender, any of that. If you do the same amount of work, you put in the same amount of effort, you should receive the same amount of money. Now, of course, there's stipulations around that. Like, I am the corporate office manager for Slim Huskies. If there's another corporate office manager for Slim Huskies, and they're putting in what I put in, they should get paid. In fact, we have women at the corporate office that make what I make, if not more. I know their work, I know their worth. However, I know the corporate office manager for Pizza Hut's gonna make more money than me because it's a larger corporation. So, with that being said, everything the Black Godfather said, everything revolves around numbers. And I just want to put some facts out there. When Taraji did Benjamin Button, yes, she got paid $150,000. She asked for $500,000. They wanted to pay $100,000. She asked for $5,000. They settled on $150,000. She was in that movie 16 minutes and 13 seconds. So it's hard to, when you're looking at numbers, it's hard to compare her salary to the main star's salary because he was in the movie the whole 2 hours or however long the movie was. And you have to look at the body of work that she did before Benjamin Button. I mean, she's a household name now. She wasn't a household name then. That's what propelled her to, because she won the Golden Globe, and I believe she was nominated for an Emmy. So that's what propelled her to get to the level that she's at now, because she did Benjamin Button before she even did Empire. So those are my thoughts.
Monica?
So let me start off by putting a disclaimer, because this is a political season and people do like to come after me for whatever reason during political season. So I am speaking, these are my thoughts. GOP, you can call my job, I'm gonna call yours just like I did last time you called my job. So these are my thoughts. They're not any organization I'm affiliated with. They're not on behalf of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. These are me thoughts. So I just want to put that out there before they try to come for me when I have not sent for them. So now we got that out the way. I will say that she is I and I is she. Every woman can say that they felt the way that Taraji has felt about not being valued at their place of employment. I did a little research myself. The median salary for Black women is $36,000 a year. For white men, it's $57,000. And sometimes Black women have more education and we're making less. I have a graduate degree, as you can see on the wall. Very proud of that. Kick my butt to get that. And we still make less than some white women with just a regular high school diploma. I have 2 certifications. So it's not just a Taraji issue. This is a systemic issue, and it's by design. They don't look at our qualifications sometimes. They just look and, oh, she's going to be angry, put all these negative narratives on us. So we have to be, I hate saying this, twice as good to get a portion of what they earn. So it's not just a Hollywood thing. This is an America thing. If you look at, Tennessee has transparency salaries. And I stopped looking about, 2017, because I was getting infuriated that I have a graduate degree, that I graduated the police academy, that I have IG from when my days in the military, school trained, all these certifications, and I make less than some secretaries that are white women in Tennessee. And most state agencies have it where you can go and look at the salary. But I said, look, Monica, you're just going to throw yourself into a frenzy. Stop looking and focus on what you're making. So it's real. I get the whole 16 minutes, but I'm talking people for the state, it's 37.5. That's what we all work. There's nobody working some extra hours. You get paid if you do work extra, but I'm talking about regular secretaries that aren't even certified professional secretaries that make more than I do. And at first, when Taraji was made her statement and she cried, I'm like, well, Monique said all this and she's not getting the support. But it's like, why do we have to soften ourselves for people to say, oh, Taraji's right. Women are not being paid their worth. It shouldn't be tone policing where, well, Monica asked nicely and we might consider paying you what you're worth. So it's systemic. It's not something that's going to change in the next year or two. We have to learn how to advocate for ourselves, We have to learn how to not take it personal. And then we have to learn how to take off that S on our chest that Black women do sometimes. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to sacrifice my family to show them how good I am at my job, because that's not going to warrant you getting paid your worth.
So with that being said, I'm glad you brought up Monique. Hold on, cuz you got something to say?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. No,
The
go ahead.
only thing I really hate about what Taraji said is that it gives validity to Monique's comments. Now let's be completely, again, I'm just gonna state some facts. I'm not gonna put my personal opinion out there. But when Monique said she went to Netflix and they offered her $500 million,
500,000.
I mean, Lord, I'm tripping. I'm not too much.
Yeah, she was taking the 500 million.
Right.
Like, where do I sign?
Right. She wouldn't have went back. Okay, so 500,000. Thank you for correcting me, cuz. So when she went and they offered her 500,000 to do her special, let's be completely honest. What's Monique's body of work up to that point? Up to that point.
She was an Oscar winner.
Okay.
She was an Oscar winner. She was the number one show for Black people. The Parkers was under her belt. She was Queens of Comedy, so her resume was looking pretty good now.
So you think her resume was worth more than 500,000?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's an Oscar winner.
Okay. Let's sit on that for a minute. She was an Oscar winner for Precious. And when did Precious come out?
Let's see, I had just got here. 2009, I think.
I think it was.
Okay. All right.
I looked at it.
What has she done since then? Because the Parkers was before that. What has she done since then?
Well, remember after Precious, she was white ball, black ball, whatever color ball was that happened to Monique.
was she blackballed or was she difficult to work with? Again, I'm not stating any opinions.
I'm gonna push back, brother. I'm gonna push back on the difficult to work with, because advocating for yourself is not necessarily difficult to work with. Knowing your worth. She said, I'm not going to do anything outside of my contract. You guys want me to go on this chitlin circuit. That's not in my contract. I fulfilled all the obligations of my contract, and I'm not going to do I'm not going to do all this traveling. They was trying to put her big behind on Southwest. And she was like, well, can I at least get some your first class? Can you upgrade me? And not paying her, not compensating her for her. So when she starts saying, hey, I'm a big girl, if I'm a fly, at least put me where I can be a little comfortable. So okay. I don't think she was being difficult. I think she was advocating for herself. And anytime as Black women, if we are a little too boisterous, it comes off as, oh, she's too aggressive versus assertive.
She's angry, and I get all of that.
Angry, so yeah. I think she was just fighting for herself, and not only her co-star, who was brand new to Hollywood. She was also, and who was a much younger woman. She was also advocating for her. So I don't think she was being difficult. I think she was saying, this is what's going to work for me. If you want me to go on this chitlin circuit so I can get this Oscar, don't put me on Southwest Airlines. Fly me commercial.
Hold on. You said exactly what I was going to. Thank you for bringing up my next point. She was asked to go on this chicken circuit so she could promote herself to get an Oscar. Once you get Oscar buzz, you can't just sit back and twiddle your thumbs. You got to keep yourself in the public eye. Just so happened it worked out for her, but that's why it wasn't to promote the movie. The movie was already out.
Mm-hmm.
The movie had already hit the box office. It was probably on DVD by this time.
Oh, not DVD. You're right, though.
So she was asked to do all of these things to promote herself so that she could go home with that trophy. Am I right or am I wrong? You just said it yourself. The thing is,
she met all her contractual obligations. And
you're right. She did. So she had.
Once you get the Oscar, you're gonna go to this. You're here, but once you get the Oscar, you're gonna go there. But she was like, okay, I'm gonna do what you guys are asking me to do. However, can you make my travel a little more comfortable? I don't think that's being difficult.
No, it's not. It's not. But at that point, how did the conversation go? Did she get
There's no
loud? Did she knock anything over? Was she cool? We don't know that. And I'm not saying she did or didn't, but regardless of that, what has she done since then? We're gonna get back to Netflix in a second.
this
So
is the
what?
thing. She did the same thing as Amanda Seals. Remember for Insecure, I'm not sure if y'all Insecure fans. Amanda Seals, once her contract was over, Amanda said, I'm done. So you have all these promos for the last season of Insecure. And she's like, oh, y'all, no, I've done what y'all have paid me to do. So no, I'm not going to do any promos. I'm not doing any interviews. Like, I'm done with that part of Insecure.
She didn't answer my question, cuz.
What was your question? What? Go ahead. Go ahead.
What has she done? You're gonna need something stronger than that. What has she done? Precious. In between, what's her body of work in between Precious and Netflix?
Now
there was a movie. I think it was
I'll go ahead and answer this real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I can answer this. So Precious did come out in 2009. Also, from 2009 to 2011, she had her own show, the Monique Show. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Vaguely.
She
It
was on BET. I remember that. It was on BET.
I remember that. I remember that because she was a talk show host.
Yeah.
Because she actually, after she won, she actually walked out on stage with her Oscar in her hand. So I remember the show.
Yeah. So she was also in Almost Christmas. That movie with was it Danny Glover and
Danny Glover,
all of them,
Gabrielle Union, JB Smoove. I just watched it over the holidays. JB Smoove. So
Omar
on and so
Epps.
forth.
Yeah. What else? 2023.
She was in Bessie.
Yeah, she was in that. She was in BMF.
No. BMF came. She got
after
the BMF gig after the Netflix thing.
Okay.
Right.
So in between. So in between. All right. So with that being said, what makes her worth more than $500,000 to Netflix? I'm not saying she's not worth it. That's the value Netflix saw in her. What made her worth more than that?
The Oscar.
The Oscar?
The Oscar.
The Oscar is 20 years old?
It don't matter. How many Black women have supporting role Oscars? Her, Hattie McDowell, Whoopi Goldberg, 3. So just the Oscar alone, they should at least gave her 6 figures, be at least $1 million before
for an Oscar, just because she got an Oscar?
An Oscar. They should put her up to 6 figures at least. 7 figures.
If that's the case, Cuba Gooding Jr. would have been killing this since Tommy McGuire.
What has he done?
Exactly. That's my whole point.
He's not on Monique's level. That's apples and oranges, brother.
She's not on his level because he'd have put out a lot of maybe straight to DVD movies or whatever, but I know his body of work is more than Monique's. So what has she done?
So the argument is the reason why Monique brought up the Netflix thing and her deals because Amy Schumer got the $1 million deal.
Right.
But also to Ron's point, Amy Schumer has been in the spotlight previously up to that point. That's why they gave her that money.
Okay.
So
let's talk. Well,
here's the thing too.
Here nor there.
Here's the thing too, because they gave Jerry Seinfeld all that money. He ain't really done anything when he did his Netflix special. They gave, of course, I'm not gonna count Dave Chappelle because he's
top tier.
Let's talk
Dave Chappelle. Let's talk Dave Chappelle because when Monique said, she said, "Hello, my babies." She always calling somebody a damn baby, like we puppies or some shit. "Hello, my sweet babies. I am suing Netflix for racial discrimination and gender discrimination. Okay, you can't say racial because Dave Chappelle got broke off, Eddie Murphy got broke off, Kevin Hart got broke off, Chris Rock got broke off. So that throws the racial out of the window. You can't say gender because Amy Schumer got broke off. Irregardless of what you think about Amy Schumer's comedy, she sold out the Garden.
That's true.
Marinate for a minute.
Let me say this. Monique won her lawsuit, by the way. They settled it, which means that they had enough evidence to prove that she
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
An underpaid black woman. So race and gender were a factor in them lowballing her.
All right. So back to Monique. Monique shot her special. Hold on, I got my notes right here. She shot her special at the Rialto Center for the Arts, Georgia State University in Atlanta. The Rialto Center, and you can look this up online whenever you get ready. The Rialto Center holds 833 people. Sell out the Rialto Center. I know 833 people that's going to come out just on the strength. I told you you're going to need something stronger than that. So, IMDb reviewers gave this special 5.2 stars out of 10. It was described as a therapy session, useless rant, and hood TED Talk. As far as Monique's body of work, she did Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, 2008, Precious, 2009, where she won the Oscar, and a small part, even though she was funny, I'm going to give it to her. She was funny as hell in Almost Christmas. But that was 2016. So with all of that being said, even if you want to go back to Queens of Comedy, the Queens of Comedy was shot at the fucking Orpheum in Memphis. The Orpheum holds 2,780 people, and it wasn't full. Y'all want to talk numbers? There you go. So with all that being said, why was she worth more than what Netflix was willing to give her? And she went out and proved Netflix right because the show tanked.
It didn't tank. A lot of people watched it because they are fans and they could relate.
A lot of people watched it just to see what the hype was going to be about, just to see if she was going to bring it. She didn't bring it. It wasn't funny. Was it funny to you? How many times did you laugh?
Funny. Chris Rock's last special wasn't funny. He still got 7 figures to do, 8 figures, I believe. This is my thing.
It's Chris Rock.
It's Chris Rock. It wasn't funny though, so we're not going to pay them based off of their funny, because that's matter of opinion of who's funny and who's not funny. Okay. Malcolm X said this, and I want y'all to really think about the most disrespected person in America is who?
The black woman.
No matter what we do, and even we eat our own. It's not on my timeline. It's not my Caucasian or my Asian or my Hispanic friends that are mad at Monique. I've been going toe to toe with brothers I serve with, combat arms deployed with. Oh, she don't deserve that. She doesn't deserve that. Why doesn't she deserve it? She got the Oscar. Like Viola Davis, she ran her whole resume down. She got everything they said she's supposed to have. She got the Tony. She got the Oscar. And they're still saying, well, no, you're Meryl Streep, but we're not going to pay you what we're paying Meryl Streep. So this is a systemic issue. And the frustrating part for me as a black woman who knows I'm never going to get paid my worth working for the agency I work for. I've already reconciled that. But we're the most disrespected. We're also the most undervalued. And it really is heartbreaking to see brothers on social media agreeing that, well, her body of work does not say that she deserves to be paid more than $500,000 just because she has the Oscar. Don't talk to me unless you come with 7 figures, because of this Oscar. Y'all said, once I get this, then I'll be worth this. And she got what they said, that she only 3 black women have received supporting Oscar awards. Her, Hattie McDowell, Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know. I hope I'm not missing any. Out of all those who've been nominated, I think Octavia Spencer. No, she didn't get it. Yeah, she did get it. So 4.
Yeah.
Very few Black women are rewarded for acting. So when you have one who does get the little trophy, here you go. Y'all said that's what I need to get paid more. I got mine. Oh no, well, what has she done for us lately? What body of work does she have? She has done what they have said is required of her to get the 7 figures. So don't talk to Monique unless you come in with at least $1 million.
So real
Starting.
quick, oh my bad. So real quick, Amy Schumer did speak out against the about the pay with Netflix as well. But the only difference between her and Monique, Netflix initially offered Amy Schumer $11 million compared to Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. So we have that right there.
11
Also,
million
yeah,
versus
initially,
500,000.
She
initially,
sold out Madison Square Garden.
She also had half of her audience to walk out when she made a Trump joke in, I think it was Miami, Florida, somewhere she was at.
What does that have to do with anything?
But you're not hearing white men say
work.
Amy Schumer doesn't deserve 11 million. But you are hearing Black men say, "Oh, she should take that $500,000 and be happy that she got it." Like, come on, no.
No. I didn't say she should take that 500,000 and be happy with it. I asked, where does her body of work line up to where she was worth more to Netflix than $500,000? Now,
so
a
I
very
think,
interesting point. Go ahead, cuz.
so I think the point is being made is this: you do have Monique who did win an Oscar, but also at the same time, I guess the point being made is you got your Oscar for acting, but when you come to Netflix, do a special, and from that point you got that Oscar. To that point, I'm trying to look it up when I guess Netflix first approached her to do a special. I'm trying to look that up right now while I'm speaking. It's all about, Hollywood. They have always said it's about what you have done lately.
There it
right?
is.
So
there it is.
Unless
now
you're Dave Chappelle and you go on a hiatus for 10 years and then you come back and get paid what you get paid.
Because it's Dave Chappelle. Name 3 jokes Monique's ever told in her life. 3.
Her husband not being able to say the word daiquiri. That's 1. Her having powder instead of actual breast milk because of her age. That's 2.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on the third one.
Okay, now you're stuck on the third one. I can do Dave Chappelle's whole routine.
He's a savant, though. It's not fair to compare the two.
Oh, no. Why is he a savant?
He is gifted. This man's gift comes from up above.
Okay.
So
is it fair to say that Dave Chappelle is funnier than Monique? Yes or no?
I say it all day long.
Okay.
It's on Sunday. He's hilarious.
Okay. Is it fair to say that Dave Chappelle's body of work has more substance than Monique's? Is that fair to say?
More substance.
Closer, Sticks and Stones.
On the comedic level, yes.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about.
Let's say this. Let's say this. Dave Chappelle, you look at their body of work, you're more likely to go back and look at everything Dave Chappelle has done.
Absolutely.
More so than Monique. Now, me personally, I'll go back and watch The Parkers. I think The Parkers is hilarious. But other than that, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, that's probably about it. I would go back and really watch. When you talk about Dave Chappelle, you got to think Dave Chappelle, when he got on that level, it was because of the Chappelle Show. He basically saved an entire network.
He did.
Chappelle Show. And then you got to think his upbringing. We all seen him on Def Comedy Jam. We saw Monique on Def Comedy Jam as well. But you seen Dave Chappelle line up with Eddie Murphy. Y'all remember Nutty Professor. He was in that movie. You look at Undercover Brother, Eddie Griffin. Martin Lawrence. What's that movie he did with Martin Lawrence? Blue Street. Yeah. Then you got to think about his specials, his HBO special, Killing Them Softly, right? Which is a great, great special. So all of that led up to the Chappelle Show, which took him to
A whole nother
mainstream.
level.
It
A
took him to
whole nother
mainstream.
level.
So that mainstream, that's a big thing because now you got so many people wanting to see a Dave Chappelle, which why he's always getting 20 million per special from Netflix, right? When you have I brought up Jerry Seinfeld, right? Do I think Jerry Seinfeld is funny? No, I don't think, right? He has that dry humor, right? But I understand why Netflix paid him all that money because they're looking at the viewership that he's going to bring to Netflix. So from a business standpoint, I get it. Also, too, I understand that Netflix could have came with a better offer. Like you said, they could at least did $1 million,
At
negotiated.
least minimum.
They could have negotiated, and then Monique could, on her part, you say, you know what? If y'all gonna give me, let's just say 750,000, let's set it up to where if this special meets or exceeds expectations, then on the next, you're gonna give me another
Yeah.
special, and you're gonna pay me millions of dollars.
Yeah, you're gonna break me
So-
off because now I'm showing you my work. And at the end of the day, wasn't nobody checking for Monique like that. You know it, I know it.
So what does
Netflix knew it.
I'm trying to ask this question. What does the Oscar have to do with her comedy?
It's
Essentially,
on her
because
resume. And they told her, she said this on The View. She said they told her once you receive the Oscar, it's going to make you have more earning power. So that was how they were trying to get her. Come on now, we know this is not covered in your contract, but once you get the Oscar, it's going to expand your worth, your net worth. So she's like, okay, even though I don't want to be on Southwest, let me go on and get on Southwest and travel and be uncomfortable because they said that it's going to increase my value, and then it didn't. Because not like I said, 4 or 5 women in America Black women have supporting role Oscars. That's worth something.
Did she get an Oscar in
Angela
comedy?
Bassett just got hers. Angela Bassett, well, her body of work just got, and then it was kind of an honorary. It wasn't for a role she played. It wasn't for Tina Turner. It was, oh, Angela Bassett, we have neglected you all these years. Here you go, girl. Here's your Oscar.
Did Monique get an Oscar in comedy?
No, she received the Oscar for playing
Exactly. That's my whole point.
stereotype. So, oh, gosh.
Which is a
Perpetuating
whole
the
nother
negative
show.
stereotype of Black women is what she's doing the Oscar for.
Which
Just
is
like
a whole
Halle
nother
Berry
show.
won it for being a hoe. So,
Yeah,
anytime they can make us look bad,
Denzel
you bad
won it for
mom,
being a dirty
it's
cop.
Oscar. Right.
I get that. I get that.
Or a
But at the
slave.
same
If you want an
time-
Oscar, play a slave.
But at the same time, wasn't nobody checking for Monique like that. And Netflix
I
knew it.
wouldn't say nobody. She has a fan base. I don't think she has a crossover appeal as other comedians that we've talked about, but she does have a loyal fan base. She had the top show, The Parkers, for Black viewers for several
Years ago. You know how long ago that was?
several
Like that was
years.
last week.
But it was the top show. Just like
At
people
one
still
time-
say, oh, Friends was the top show in America. I'm like, that was, my son is 18, so that was 10 years ago? We still talking about Friends?
Good Times was a top Black show for Black people.
Oh, not the 70s, not Good Times, not JJ now.
So Jimmy Walker
Dynamite,
worth.
nah.
So Jimmy Walker worth $1 million.
Come on now.
Worth $1 million in Netflix.
I was a child then now. When I was a child, I spoke as a child.
I'm just saying.
Not Dynamite. We ain't going, that's whole apples and oranges. Apples and oranges.
You trying?
I think-
always
I
apples
think,
and oranges with you.
Look, it's a systemic issue. I just told you, brothers, that I have a master's degree, graduated from the academy, and there are secretaries who make more than I make. So it's a systemic issue. You can feel however you want to feel about Monique.
I am not going to. I would be the first one to say the systemic racism
there you
exists. I'm the first one
go.
to
The
say
wage gap
that.
too.
But however, this ain't that. Don't make it a systemic issue when you just ain't worth more than $500,000 to Netflix.
She's
And
worth more than
I didn't
$500,000.
say she wasn't worth $500,000. I said to Netflix, Issa Rae is a perfect example. She went to Netflix with her show. They told her, this is what we're gonna give you for your show. She said, okay, I believe my show is worth more than that. and she went to HBO
HBO.
and got what she felt like she deserved. So I'm not saying that Monique wasn't worth whatever she wanted. She wasn't worth that to Netflix. And then she
Okay.
turned around and made it a systemic racial issue. If it is systemic racism, how come they gave Beyonce $600 million?
Come
Is
on
she not
now.
a black?
Stop.
Is she not a
Stop.
black woman? Not a black woman? Yes or no? All I need is a yes or no right now.
No, I'm not gonna answer.
Okay, then I don't blame you.
Beyonce is Beyonce. She's the
Beyonce,
goddess of the universe. So Oprah told her that you can't compare the goddess of the universe to a comedian. Stop.
but you can't just say that you're not going to pay black women and they
No,
paid a black woman.
It is definitely, y'all don't understand how real white supremacy.
I do understand how real white supremacy works.
I
But
think
you
that
can't
we
say
eat our own.
that.
Let me give you an example. So y'all see what's going on with The Color Purple now. Everybody's coming out because Taraji cried. I wasn't paid my worth, and I had to take a rental car in Atlanta, and it was a liability issue, and blah blah blah. So who are we blaming?
Bring that up.
Who are we blaming for that? We're blaming Oprah Winfrey, right? And I have my own issues with Oprah, but I pulled up who the producers are. You got Steven Spielberg, you got Quincy Jones, you got Scott Sanders, you got Kathleen Kennedy. She's hella problematic. You have Frank Marshall, but who are we blaming because they didn't have food on the set? We're blaming Oprah Winfrey
Because Oprah's low hanging fruit.
Right. Ain't nobody said anything about Kathleen Kennedy. She worth $400 million. She could have went and got them guys some snacks, some grapes, something from Atlanta as a producer. But the only person that we're dragging is Oprah.
Because we eat, you're right. We eat our own.
In America is the black woman. Anytime we can trash our own, and sometimes people pouring the gas on it happens to be black men. I said, I haven't heard. Well, Quincy wasn't available. Why y'all not asking Quincy why he wasn't helping them get paid their worth? Everything is on Oprah's shoulder. Oh, she's a black woman. She was in The Color Purple. She should make sure they have drivers. She should make sure they have food at the set, their own dressing room. Okay, it's 6 producers. Why are we only blaming Oprah Winfrey out of the 6? And she happens to be the only black woman that's a producer of The Color Purple. Quincy couldn't. I know he's 95 or however old he is, but he couldn't get us a sandwich. Everything Oprah fault.
Yeah,
well, I was gonna bring up the Color Purple, the how they were treated on the set. You know how you brought it up. They had to go get their own rental
Atlanta,
car.
the blackest city on the East Coast.
They had to pretty much get their own rental car. They talked about the security there as well. So
no dressing rooms. They were treating it like it was 1920.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I was actually going to bring that up.
Taraji said something. And now it's like, oh, Fantasia. And the one young, I think her name is Danielle Brooks. She's new. This is her first movie. She was on Broadway. So she said, I didn't know the rules. I was so happy to be working on The Color Purple. I was just taking whatever I could get. I didn't know I was supposed to have my own dressing room. I didn't know I was supposed to have my own driver.
Yeah. So I heard about that stuff as well. Like I said, I was going to bring that stuff up because you was talking about Monique and how she was treated during her tour, try to get the Oscar and everything. And that's what made me think about The Color Purple. It's just a messed up thing right now with how they treat certain people. They treat others different. I'm gonna say they treat others different.
So let me ask this. We know how we're treated. Why are we not doing what we can to take better care of our own? Why is that? And why, if Monique said that she didn't get what she felt like she deserved from Netflix, okay, why didn't she go to Tyler Perry to see if she could have got that?
The Cat Williams already told us about Tyler Perry, right?
You keep on listening to Cat Williams.
Monique, they had their feud back then too. At the same time, her and Oprah had their feud. I'm pretty sure
And Tyler
at that time.
Perry, behind closed doors, was supporting her, but he did not want her to go public. He wanted her to go along to get along. And she was saying no. Now, he helped Viola Davis get into a good role. He helped Cicely Tyson, paid her, I think, $1 million. She had never
For one
received a
day.
payday like that for one day. So
For one
Tyler
day.
Perry has done his part. But his stuff is a little bit janky. So if you want mainstream appeal, you can't always do a TP production.
Actually, I actually brought that up to Ron last week about, the type of projects that you get involved with. You can't, unfortunately for Black people, you want to support other Black people and all of that, but we all know that the budget around Black production and all of that is not of, say, like the mainstream white productions, what their budgets are. And it's been well documented. I mean, you go back to Living Single and Friends. They shot pretty much on the same lot.
Yes,
and
they
we
did.
all know Friends it's the same show as Living Single.
Basically, Living Single.
Right.
That's what it was. And not only that, but they gave the crew of Living Single the list of names of what they wanted to be, and Friends was on that list, and they chose Living Single. So they pretty much took that show and put
cultural appropriated.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I never watched Friends. I didn't really care too much about it. Living Singles myself, but they've been doing this, and you can tell the budget is not only in TV but in movies, right? Very rarely you'll get a movie, a Black movie with a huge budget. Very rarely you'll get that. Take the Black Panther. That movie had a huge budget, but they also know
that's because it's a Marvel. It was a Marvel movie.
It was a Marvel movie, and they knew what they were going to get back from it, right? And that movie was playing in countries that haven't showed the movie in decades,
right?
As well. So, as actors and actresses and all of that, if you diversify, your body of work, I think it would definitely be good for you, because depending on the budget, like I said, that budget, part of that budget is the payroll. So all thing you can do right now is, if you sign, you don't have to take the job.
Real.
I'm not saying
that's real.
You don't have to take it, but if you take it, you can negotiate. But by the end of the day, the studios, the production company, they will always win. Because if you don't take it, somebody else is going to take it, right? And very rarely, and I know Ron, I know Monica, y'all know this. Going back to the Marvel thing, right? The whole Marvel universe started with Iron Man, right? So we're talking about from Marvel Studios, just Marvel Studios. And people forget Terrence Howard was in that first Iron Man movie.
He sure was. I don't forget.
And not only that, this is what people don't know either. Terrence Howard actually made more money than Robbie Downey Jr. in that first movie.
Really?
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Because you got to remember, that's at the time they really couldn't trust Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man basically saved his career.
Yeah, he was suspect.
Yeah, and then Terrence Howard, he was on fire at that point.
Yes, he was.
So, but whatever happened, usually it's money wise.
It was money.
It was. He went back and he went back and asked for some more money, and I don't know what he asked for, but they were like, "We can get somebody else." Right. And they got somebody else.
Don Cheadle. They got Don Cheadle to take that place, and it's just been like that ever since. Now, Terrence Howard did get back on his feet with Empire.
Oh,
right.
Facts.
He got back.
They said he was underpaid for that too, though.
They say he was what?
Underpaid for Empire.
What was they getting? Like him and Taraji was getting like $250 per episode.
Yeah, that was Lee Daniels. So he's notorious also for underpaying his actors.
250 per episode, and it was 102 episodes of Empire. Do the math. That's underpaid?
Compared to, yes, it is.
Compared to what? Compared to what?
Friends, they were
Let's
getting
talk
1
numbers.
million per episode for Friends.
Do you know how
1
many
million.
people watched Friends?
A lot.
More
I watch
people
Friends.
watch Friends.
I watched every episode of Friends. I'm a
See,
Friends
look
fan.
at you. Look at you. You watch.
Don't take
You
my black
watch
card.
Friends.
Don't take my black card.
Man, I'm ready to snatch that quick.
It got
You
me through
watch
Iraq.
Friends.
Every episode.
You watch Friends. You are the only person, not black person. You're the only person I know that has ever said they watched.
Every single
You watched
episode.
every episode of
Unapologetically.
Friends.
He was my favorite.
So
I
with
made
that
no
being,
apologies. I was
okay,
deployed.
so-
I was at war.
oh, all right. Well, you know, your guilty pleasure is your guilty pleasure. However, with that being said, which show made more money? We're talking about numbers. We're not talking about black and white. Empire did numbers, but which one made more? Did Friends not do more? You watch Friends.
I watched every episode.
You were unapologetically black and you watched every episode of Friends.
And Friends was on a major network, whereas Empire was
on Fox.
Fox.
Right. So
Which
they
makes
have
a
less money.
Yeah.
So we can get
true.
into financial literacy if you want to, because I said, look, at the end of the day, Taraji has more money than I will ever have in my lifetime. She's worth 12 million. She has a whole team. I have to do my own hair. My husband colors my hair for me. I do my own makeup. I don't have a team. So I said, well, she fired her team. She might want to fire them again because they taking some of your money. So
all that, you know, even actors, you know, they have endorsement deals too. You know, the top actors, they have endorsement deals. So, you know, they got to continue to make that money, you know, and stuff like that. And I don't know what her team was doing, the team that she fired. I don't know.
That's why they got fired. They weren't doing anything because they didn't have anything lined up. She said it. They didn't have anything lined up for her after Empire but another cookie show. And she was like, I do it if it's right. And it wasn't right. And she's like, I'm not doing it. And all y'all are fired.
Yeah. And then she got lowball for The Color Purple too. So wherever you go, there you are, Taraji.
But she did she not know what she was going to make? We're not talking about all of the snafus that happened during production. The lack of fruit roll-ups and gummy bears on set, and you have to go to the Cracker Barrel to change clothes before you shoot your scene, and you got to drive the rented PT Cruiser.
So you playing
before all of that, what she was going to make, sign that contract. So it's hard to me, as somebody that's had to renegotiate their work and their worth. When you signed that contract, you knew what you were going to make. So why are you crying after that? I'm just asking. I'm not saying she's not worth what she feels like she's worth, but she knew what she was going to make before she even said, after she read the script, here, this is what we're going to pay you. Take it or leave it. She took it.
She said she almost walked away from The Color Purple because of the salary. But then she went over, she said the math's not mathing, and she went over how much she makes, and then her team. Sis, I mean, you got more coins than I do, but I know you went to Howard. I know you know how to do your own hair and makeup. And it was based in the 20s, so do you need a lot of makeup? Fire those jokers that you got a son that's, I think he's an actor as well, Marcel. Hey, you got a bag handler, you're fired. My son who's unemployed, he's gonna take care of that. So there is financial literacy that is missing and badly needed in the Black community, because we do spend what $1.6 billion.
And they're not paying her based on her team.
No, they're not.
When you go to a job interview, they don't ask you, well, how much is your mortgage?
No, they don't
care. How much is your car note? All of that is your personal business. This is what we want you to do. This is how much we're going to pay you to do what we want you to do. Now, if you get in there and kill it, then yeah, go back and ask for some more money, by all means. But all of her personal, what she got going out, Warner Brothers don't care about that.
At all.
Mhm.
Unfortunately.
They don't at all.
And not only that, there's been actors who have took money on the back end as well, so they pretty much got like percentage of the movie.
Halle
You know,
Berry did
tickets
that.
to Halle Berry, Tom Hanks, he did it
Yep.
with Forrest Gump.
She gave up her whole salary, and then they paid her back.
Yeah, they did that. We also had actors who took way less just to be in a movie with somebody else. So
Right.
it's just all how you negotiate.
Because they made an investment in themselves. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm looking past that. I know what that's going to bring.
Yeah, so there is it's much more than just a talent aspect. There's a business aspect as well. So, but I believe that her she's gonna have that. I believe she's gonna have that big role. It's gonna come. When it's gonna happen, we don't know. But when that comes, she's gonna have to really bring it because now you're talking about the pay and everything. So when that moment comes, and you're the lead or you have a big role in the movie, especially a mainstream movie, you gotta bring it. So
well, 50
but
Cent offered her a deal several times, so I don't know if she's gonna call 50 Cent or not. I know he's kind of petty, but he said he would pay her worth because he paid Mary J. Blige her worth. So
yeah.
For what,
Yeah,
Power?
was it Power? Yeah, because she was in Power.
Power Force.
I think he paid Mary was a 400. I'm not trying to count her coins. I think as they said it was 450,000.
Mary can't even that.
Wait a minute, now.
You know
need to
Mary
stop
can't.
drinking something strong and get
You
you
know-
a early drink.
You know Mary can't act. If you ever sat there and watched Tariq, have you?
She did well in a diary of what was it?
God, here you go. Talking
Not
about
the
what
diary.
she did well in.
I mean, she was playing herself, but she did very well.
She's playing herself in this. A woman from New York wearing a lot of expensive clothing, and she still can't.
we got to stop with the Mary J. This is her birthday month too. We got to stop with we can't.
Oh, I'm a Mary J. fan, but that don't mean she ain't above reproach.
Ancestors will not be happy with us talking about her Capricorn season, so we're gonna put Mary J. over here. Next question.
Also,
and Mary's my girl.
Capricorn season. My cousins Natalie, Carrie, shout out to them. Capricorns. We're gonna put it over there.
All right, we'll talk about her next month.
Yeah, we all talk about her in a different episode.
So I want to switch from Hollywood to sports.
Okay.
Obviously, this has been a big, even bigger than Hollywood. The pay in sports between women's sports and men's sports, and I just want to clarify: women are not saying that they want the exact dollar amount as the men. They're saying the percentage from like their collective bargaining, right? The percentage they kind of want more, but there's been a lot of talk. I'm two sports really. Basically, has been bringing this up is basketball and soccer. So those are the two main sports. Not counting individual sports because if you don't count individual sports, I mean you got Serena and everybody. We know how much they make. They make a whole lot. But I guess I'll start with Monique this time. What you think about the pay in men and women's basketball and soccer? Do you think women should get paid more, or as equal to the men, or is there something that they can do to help bring in more revenue for this sport so they can make more money? What are your thoughts on that?
Let me start off by saying my husband is from Cleveland, Ohio. So LeBron James is the king. He is the Beyonce of basketball. I had a classmate, she's a year behind me. She played professional for Cleveland. We went to one of her games in Cleveland. Anytime LeBron is in Memphis, we try as a family to go to Memphis. So when it comes to basketball, they probably gonna ask me to burn my feminism card because I'm not interested in the WNBA like that. I was happy that those ladies from LSU on the collegiate level won, but I'm not trying to go to a WNBA basketball game. But when we talk about soccer, women excel in soccer. So for soccer players that happen to be women, because they excel and they've won so many championships, they should be paid their worth. But as far as basketball, again, I went to one game because Chastity was playing in Cleveland at the time. I went to high school with her. I wanted to go to support, but that's the only WNBA game that I've been to. I'm not interested in the WNBA like I am the NBA. Soccer, yes, because they have won, they're world champions. So yes, they should be paid their worth. So basketball, soccer, pay those ladies. Megan Rapinoe, I think her last name is. Phenomenal. Yeah. I think she just retired this year. They lost, but phenomenal soccer player. So yes, they're getting the notoriety. They're winning championships for the USA. Pay her, but I'm not going to advocate for the same on the WNBA because I'm just not a fan of the WNBA like that.
Right.
I know they're going to be like, "Oh, Bernie Brown,
Monica, you have disappointed me because I was so ready to give you all this smoke. I was sitting over here like anxious. Like,
did you agree with me, brother?
Ooh, I'm finna light her ass up.
Did you agree with me?
I do. I wholeheartedly agree with you. But again, we are going to talk numbers. 2022. WNBA made $60 million. And you can look this up on NBA.com. WNBA made $60 million. The NBA made $10 billion.
10 billion with a B?
10 billion. Average ticket price for an NBA game, $694. Average ticket price for a WNBA game, $47. Highest paid players, Steph Curry, $48 million. Highest paid for the WNBA, 2022, Jewel Lloyd, $228,094. Average viewership for the NBA Finals was 12.4 million. The average viewership for the WNBA, 412,000. Average attendance at an NBA game is 27,184 people. Average attendance for a WNBA game is 5,679 people.
There you have it.
So, with numbers, it's hard to say what they deserve to be paid. And even though they feel like they should get a higher percentage of revenue sharing, that was in the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, you're right.
You have to hit, even though the WNBA is somewhat growing in popularity and it's now at the point where it's turning a profit, because let's keep in mind, when the WNBA started for years, it didn't turn a profit.
It didn't.
The only thing that kept it afloat was the NBA.
Right.
So that's in a situation to where it's turning a profit, but it still hasn't turned enough profit per the collective bargaining agreement for the players to get the profit sharing that they want.
So what does the WNBA need to do?
Grow.
So my question is this, because the NBA, and I'm not going to talk about soccer because I think we all agree with soccer. I mean, we're going to bet on any games, we're going to bet on the women's team more so than the men's team.
The girls are bad.
So we pretty much know that part. But with the WNBA, who was their go-to player that could be the face of the league? Like when you talk about the NBA has always marketed their players
Right.
because it's a players league, and they know players are going to drive the sales. They're going to drive the revenue. That's what the TV contracts. This is what they want. This is who they pulling. And not only that, we're forgetting one thing too. The WNBA season is about what 40 games, right? Compared to the NBA game, which is 82.
Right.
Even with that, WNBA season, they're still competing with the NBA with the NBA Summer League because when the Summer League comes around, prime time slot on ESPN, players that coming over already got all the hype. People been following them ever since high school. They're the next whoever, next LeBron, next Michael, or they're one of a kind, right? So when they bring these players into the summer league, Ron, I know you've seen it. When they're in Vegas, guess what? That place is sold out, right? When they're in Salt Lake City, sold out. When they're in Sacramento, sold out. And yet the WNBA, when they put their games on, it's not really prime time, right? When you look at the All-Star game, when they put out and display their very best, it's a Saturday afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody's at home watching a WNBA game at that time. No disrespect, but nobody's doing it. It's not college football. It's not football, right? So that's why I was asking, who are the players that they can market to actually help push the league more?
As good as they are, Caitlin is good. Angela Reese, if she can keep her GPA up high enough to continue to play, she's good. But
again, that's college.
Young,
that's college.
Young. But they even
college.
said as collegiate students now they can get paid. They said they're not trying to go to the WNBA because they make more now playing collegiate
with their NILs than they would make going to the WNBA.
Right. I can't name a WNBA player. I'm embarrassed that I can, but I
honestly,
Lisa
I
Leslie,
can't.
that's when I knew Lisa Leslie. That was like in what 90s.
Yeah, and
Cheryl
Swoops and what's the girl named Bird? I think Bird.
Sue Bird and
Brittany Reiner is playing.
Yeah, I mean, if I think about it, I could name a few, but I got into a debate with my daughter, and she and I debate all the time about whatever. It's like she just gives it to me just because she thinks she can. And we got into a debate about the WNBA and the NBA and how much money the players made. And I let her go on her little tangent. She went on, and I was like, "So, how many games have you watched?"
Oh, geez.
None. That's the problem. It just doesn't make the money as the NBA. It does not. It doesn't make the money as shit. I don't know. Probably XFL or USFL or something like that. It just don't make the money. It's doing better. It's trending. It's growing, but it's just not making NBA dollars. Will it ever?
We're just not.
Knows? I don't know what they need to do. Maybe when Caitlin Reese and what's the girl name for
Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Clark and Reese. Maybe when they get in there, they're going to bring some buzz.
I don't think they are.
If they go,
they need to finish their college degrees.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them leaving. No, till they get their college degree. Like you said, they make more money in college than they would in the WNBA.
So what are they going to do after? Okay, when they graduate from college, what are they going to do?
They're going to go pro. They're going to go to the WNBA.
All right, right. So when they go, maybe they'll bring a spark.
They won't.
You got to look at it like this from the standpoint. The women's college game is viewed more than the WNBA game.
It sure is.
That's real. That's real.
So, because think about this, right? Let me ask you this question. Who won the men's national championship last year? The fact that you have to think about it.
Who did
Right.
win? Who won? Was it
See?
Carolina? No.
No,
Who won?
I think it was Villanova. I think it was them.
Oh, that's why we don't know. I mean, who are they?
Villanova took it all last year. Really?
Yes.
I watched that game. I don't even remember who played. I don't remember who was in the Final Four
I
last
bet you
year.
remember the LSU game versus Iowa, wherever they were
Yeah.
from.
You remember that
Right.
game.
Because that was a culture
I
war
remember.
game.
Yeah.
I remember that game, and I remember all of the aftermath after the game when President Biden's wife said, "Well, we're just going to invite both teams, and isn't that
No,
what
ma'am.
sportsmanship is all about?" No,
No.
it's not. It's not.
She tried it.
Had LSU lost, would you have invited both teams?
They
But
wouldn't.
that's another show.
Right.
That's a whole nother show.
Systemic issues. Here we go again. Systemic issues.
Right. It leads back to the systemic.
I'm sorry.
I digress.
It was UConn. UConn won.
UConn?
Yeah.
Really?
Who they play against?
San Diego State.
See, who what? They was in it? Okay.
Yeah. The Final Four.
Wow.
The Final Four was. This is gonna trip you off. This is in the Final Four. Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, which San Diego State beat by 1 point, and then in the other bracket was UConn and Miami. UConn won by 13.
I remember that.
I was not focusing on that. I was focused on LSU versus Iowa because it was a culture war, and we were all wanting Angela Reese. At least I did in this house. We were rooting for LSU, and my son wore LSU because you know what school he go to, Darius. So he wore his LSU sweatsuit the following day to school.
Wow. So that's why I was saying the women's college game. The women's college game is they're pushing more forward than the WNBA game. And I don't know what it is about the WNBA game, even though they talking about, well, we've been in existence for like 25 years and all this
Ain't
stuff.
nobody watching it.
Nobody, but you also got to think, if you take the seasons that they have played compared to the NBA season, they've only played 13 full seasons compared to a NBA season. The NBA been around 75 years. And don't tell me they didn't go through their growing pains. Yeah. 75 years. 75 and they went through their growing pains as well. Right? So the WNBA, to me, they need a player that young girls can look up to and say, that's who I want to be.
So what's her name? Joanna Man is what you're saying?
Oh God.
Is that what's going to turn the WNBA around? Is it Joanna Man?
No, I mean, listen, there's a lot of things they can do. I know former NBA players like Shaq, Tracy McGrady. They all said, they all said, hey, why don't you lower the rim by like down to 9 feet?
Not lower the standard now, Lord.
They mentioned that. They was like, because there's an entertainment aspect to it. You know, the casual fan, they want to see the highlight dunks and all of that stuff. You know, you won't necessarily get that from a women's game, even if you break it down to like 9 feet. I don't know, that's actually going to help. But I just think they need to market their players better. And two, and I'm going to say this too, I don't care who get mad. But those WNBA players who are on these shows on ESPN and TNT talking NBA basketball, you're not pushing your league forward talking NBA basketball. So I think that's what they need to do. Continue to they just gotta find somebody.
Well, they do. They gotta be marketable. I'm all for women's and all this stuff, but you gotta entertain me. I'm sorry.
It's about numbers.
It is.
Right now the math ain't mathing.
It ain't.
Yep,
I've been to one WNBA game, and if Angela Reese goes pro, then I'll probably go to hers. But one in my entire life. But I've been to a bevy of NBA games.
Yeah. So I think that's what they need. You know, someone who's marketable, somebody who can push the game forward, things like that. Hopefully, you know, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will have some type of rivalry, you know, that went from college to the WNBA, like Magic and
Maybe
Bird.
that's what they. I was just about to say, yeah, like Magic and Bird with the Converse weapons, and I never did get a pair of those, but I digress.
We got a phenomenal basketball player here locally at Clarksville High, right, Darius?
Yep. 5-star point guard. She's
yeah, I think she's got us on fire too. So I think we're gonna start watching if she ever crosses over to the professional side.
I think she's going to Clemson.
Yeah, she's going to
next
Clemson.
year.
Because I think they kind of salty, but that's where she want to go. So that's where she going.
What's her name? What's it? Cooper?
Amari, isn't it? Amari
Cooper? No, not
and
Cooper.
She plays for Clarksville High?
Yeah,
she plays
Clarksville High.
She can hoop too.
She's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah, she can hoop.
5-star recruit. Definitely.
She's humble too.
I don't know who her people is.
Well, they said that she just scored 2,000 points.
Yeah, she just scored a 2,000 point at Clarksville High.
So she's doing really, really well.
Yeah. And it was just only a couple years ago, they had a McDonald's All-American from Clarksville High. So, you know, they doing something over there.
Right. Clarksville High, yeah. you know how it is with Clarksville High. Where are they recruiting from?
I'm not going into that.
You don't want to talk about that? Just like Rossview.
I'm not going into that either.
Well,
what's not said does it. We already understand why we don't want to talk about it.
Silence speaks volumes sometimes.
It does.
Definitely. Well, look, man, I really appreciate you both for coming on, man. This was a great episode. Next time I have a topic that I need two people to debate, I'm definitely going to hit you two back up and come on, because I was entertained. I forgot I'm hosting this thing and I'm sitting there watching you two. So,
well, my apology if I get too passionate. I'm always gonna advocate for my own Black women. Show us love whenever you can. But that's just me. So thank you.
No problem. Ron, any last words?
No. We're good. Thank you so much for having me on, Monica. It was a pleasure debating with you.
Likewise.
Sorry we felt the same about the WNBA, because I was ready to.
You was gonna light me up, huh? You was gonna get me.
Yeah, I was ready. Look, I had my notes and everything.
Yeah, pew. No, go ahead and put that back in your holster. It's not needed.
Definitely. Well, for everybody that's tuning in, please, man, y'all hit that subscribe button. New episodes are uploaded every Friday right here on YouTube, or you can catch it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts, y'all go ahead and check it out. Till next time, for Ron, Monica, I'm Darius from Drinking After Dark Podcast, and we out. Peace.
Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.